Look at that clean cut.
A sword is a blade weapon used primarily for cutting or thrusting. Historically, the sword developed in the Bronze Age, evolving from the dagger in the early modern period. The sword developed into the rapier, and eventually the small sword, surviving into the 18th century only the role of a dueling weapon. The sword is said to be the emblem of a military honor.
She's wrong. It's something.
The bow and arrow is a projectile weapon system. The oldest bows that are still in one piece are the Elm Homegard bows from Denmark, which were dated to 9000 BCE. High-performance wind bows are currently made following the Homegard design. The bow was an important weapon for both hunting and warfare, from prehistoric times until the widespread use of gunpowder in the 16th century.
This is a compound bow.
And all bows are basically made the same, with the limbs. Compounds are different and more modern because of the wheels, and as you draw the string back, they build up torque in order to propel the arrow further and faster. And on more modern bows, such as a compound bow, they have the sight and the foregrip here. And there's like three major types of bows: the recurve, longbow, and the compound. Recurves are more wooden. They're wooden, and longbows are really tall, and they're used for further ranged hunting and warfare. And this is a crossbow, and it basically has the same design as a regular bow with the limbs, but this has a scope on it, and as you pull the string back, the trigger guard holds it in, so when you pull the trigger, it fires.
We're going. Shikow.
A shotgun, also known as a scattergun and pepper gun, or historically as a fowling piece, is a firearm that is usually designed to be fired from the shoulder, which uses the energy of a fixed shell to fire a number of small spherical pellets called shot, or a solid projectile called a slug. A shotgun is generally a smooth-bore firearm, which means that the inside of the barrel is not rifled.
We're going to talk about loading a black powder rifle. First off, this is a 50 cal rifle, flintlock. We're going to load it. What we've got is it's cap and ball. You've got your ball, 490 ball. You take a patch. What I use here is pillow ticking patches. Okay, that's pillow ticking patch. 18 thousandths is what I use on my rifle. So what you do is you've got your powder. You take your powder horn. I have two powder horns here, both of them made out of deer antler. One's a 20 grain for pistol. This one here is 60 grain for rifle. Powder horn that my boy made for me. I've had for 18 years. So anyway, you take your powder, you dump your powder in the powdering horn here. Take it. You never load from the powder horn. You always load from your powder measure. So then you take your pillow ticking patch, put your patch over there, center it over the barrel the best you can, put your ball on there. I made this ball starter, deer antler horn on it, and you take that and you put it on here and ram it down. All right, so we've got the patch on there and the ball and your ball starter, so you seat that down with the ball starter, and you take your ramrod and finish ramming it down with the ramrod. You seat that down there. You got to make sure it's seated good, make sure it's good and seated, and that's all there is to loading it as far as the patch in the ball and the powder. You're ready to go.
A musket is a muzzle-loaded, smooth barrel firearm fired from the shoulder. Muskets were designed for use by infantry. In the 18th century, Improvements in ammunition and firing methods allowed rifling to be practical for military use, and the term rifle gun gave way to rifle. In the 19th century, rifle muskets, which were technically rifles but were referred to as muskets, became common, which combined the advantages of rifles and muskets. A typical smooth barrel musket firing at a single target was only accurate to about 100 to 150 yards. Rifle muskets to the mid-19th century, like the Springfield Model 1861, were significantly more accurate, with the ability to hit a man-sized target at the distance of 500 yards or more.
Okay, it's gone. That's a rifle. Target all the way down there.
A rifle is a firearm designed to be fired from the shoulder with a barrel that has a helical groove or pattern of grooves called rifling cut into the barrel walls. When the projectile leaves the barrel, the spin lends gyroscopic stability to the projectile and prevents tumbling. Rifles only fired a single projectile with each squeeze of the trigger. Modern rifles are capable of firing more than one round per trigger squeeze. Some fire in a fully automatic mode, and others are limited to fixed bursts of 2, 3, or more rounds per squeeze. Thus, modern automatic rifles overlap to some extent in design and function with machine guns. Assault rifles are currently the standard service rifles in most modern armies. Examples of assault rifles include the STG-44, AK-47, and the M16 rifle. A machine gun is a fully automatic mounted or portable firearm, usually designed to fire bullets in quick succession from an ammunition belt or magazine, typically at a rate of 3 to 1,800 rounds per minute.
We have an assortment of ammunition here. Our first contestant, a 20-gauge shotgun shell. Standard shell, not that large. The next, a 12-gauge. Wait a second, you're thinking to yourself, 12, 20, isn't that smaller? I don't know why, but it's backwards for shotguns. It's actually bigger. And then next, we have a .22 rifle round. That's not very big. It'll stop maybe a sick squirrel. And then we move on to our next one, a .223 NATO round. Standard for your modern-day assault rifle. And then next is a .270 rifle round, much bigger for a more high-caliber weapon with a lot more stopping power. And then next, the MacDab, the .50 50 caliber bullet, shot from the Barrett 50 cal. Going out on a limb here, whoa. And then the next one, this isn't even shot at normal things, this is shot at planes. This is a 20mm anti-aircraft armor-piercing round. That'll put a hole in your side. And then our last selection, wow, holy crap, that's a tank shell. Look at that. That just puts everything else into perspective. Let's get a look at this. Look at this. That's a rifle bullet. That's a .22 rifle shell. And this is a tank shell. You know, sometimes size matters.
Drones are what we have today. Unmanned controlled aircraft flying thousands of miles away from a military base. Predator drones, which are the most popular drones that we use today, are equipped with missiles and high optic cameras, even to see a human moving their arms on the ground from 10 miles away.